Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and you are going to love my guest today. Oh, yes, you are. But before we go there...
Hey, did you hear? The Heal Your Hunger Show is approaching episode 500. Come celebrate with us at the fabulous 500 live Zoom studio recording of episode 500. It's coming up soon. You'll be the first to hear the new theme song for the Heal Your Hunger Show, and you'll get connected with other Heal Your Hunger Show listeners. We're gifting 25 people a complimentary ticket to the live Zoom studio recording of episode 500. To claim your ticket and be entered to win prizes, including the grand prize, which is a seat in my concierge program to end emotional eating, all you need to do is write to questions@healyourhunger.com and share one way that the Heal Your Hunger Show has helped you on your path to heal your relationship with food. That's it. Just send an email and tell me why the Heal Your Hunger podcast has helped you. I can't wait to see you at the fabulously 500 live Zoom celebration event.
Okay, so I hope you'll join us for that. Oh my gosh, how amazing it will be. Please join us. I can't wait to meet you. So my guest today is the one and only amazing Tsilah Burman. And Tsilah and I go way back, at least 15 years back, right?
15 and a half.
15 and a half years. Wow. And I'll never forget, I was giving a talk at a Santa Monica library, and this woman's sitting there, and anyway, fast forward, now she's sitting here. So anyway, she'll tell you more about her story. It's really amazing and inspiring. And then we're going to talk about her more recent transformation and how creativity and dance and music has played a part in that. I just think it's a great example of what's possible for all of us when we open our hearts, when we do the work to heal at the deepest level our relationship with food. So welcome, Tsilah. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here, Tricia.
Yeah, great to have you. Will you tell us, like where you were when you were sitting there listening to me talk? Like what was your condition at that time, and a little bit about what happened?
Yeah. So I weighed 100 pounds more than I do
What?
now. And I was sitting in the audience listening. I came. It was a university alumni function, and it was called De-Stress, Eat Less. So, of course, I'm going to go as a compulsive overeater, emotional eater, that I had been since when I was in elementary school. And my weight had been up and down, and I tried everything imaginable and I could lose the weight but couldn't keep it off for much more than a year. I was lucky if I kept it off for a year, but oftentimes it wasn't even that long. I was sitting there I was desperate. I didn't I lost my job right after the program.
After you came to hear me speak.
Yes, after I heard you speak. But I was desperate. I was, I was, again, overweight. I had a full-time job, and I had 2 kids and a husband, and I was on this commission and that committee and involved in everything. I was running. I was just doing so much, and my life was overwhelming.
Wow. So if you guys are just listening, you can't see how beautiful and lovely Tsilah is, and she's in a petite body. 100 pounds is a lot on her frame. How tall are you?
5'4".
5'4". So yeah, that's a significant weight loss. And I have to tell you, from where I sit, Tsilah came to work with Roy. That's who I suggested she talk to many years ago. But she sat in our living room for daily for years, absolutely years. And in the first 2 years, I would say she cried almost every night And as far as I could tell, she cried those pounds away. Like, she just did so much work on herself, released so much emotion that was trapped inside her body, inside her cells. You know, she had what it took. Like, we gave her safety, right? Roy
Yes.
was incredible safe. You know, he held the container of safety for you. And we just kind of loved her back to health. But she cried all the way, cried all the way. And I just say that because, it's so easy for us to be like, oh, I'm crying, what's wrong with me? Like, if you stop overeating, there's a saying Roy used to say, which is, if you stop overeating, you'll quickly find out what you're overeating about. Because all the emotions come up. If you stop overeating, if you have that gift of freedom, then the real work begins, which is you get to feel all the feelings you stuffed with food. And so that's what you were doing for all that time.
Yeah, and it was I would say crying and writing,
Yes.
crying and writing, because the writing was so essential.
That's what brought the tears.
Yeah, well, and I got to places in my writing that had I just talked about it, I didn't get to.
Right.
So I really needed to dig deep to be able to get to those things. And also the writing took me places that I would never have thought I would go to.
Yeah, so beautiful. So, what's really important to know is that if you are somebody who is tired of dieting, tired of the whole dieting roller coaster ride, all the BS around diets and weight loss, but you do want to lose weight, which is a very valid thing to want, I'm here to say, and Tsilah is living proof that there's a different way. Like, you don't have to go the dieting route. You will have to face some feelings, and a lot of them, and you'll have to become a new person as well. But the point is, it's a personal development journey. It's one where you are discovering who you are. And I think as middle-aged women, we wake up one day and realize we don't know. Like, we were playing the roles. We were playing the roles of, professional. We were playing the roles of mother, of wife, of, caretaker, whatever it was. And it's very typical, especially for the women in Heal Your Hunger, to just, now that the food is in its place, they're just on this journey of discovering more and more about themselves and their strengths and their talents and really their inner resources, which is the journey. Like, that's the real journey. So if you can embrace that it is a deeper journey, and certainly get help, because you're not going to take that journey on your own. Oh my goodness, you can have an entirely new life. So Tsilah, tell us about, it's 15 years. We're not going to go through 15 years here, but tell us about some of the highlights of symbols of your healing. Like, how are you different today?
Oh, so many ways. But I will start with relationships. My relationships with my kids, my relationships when my mom was alive, my relationship with her, my relationship with friends, my relationship with coworkers. All of that has changed dramatically because of the work and clearing out all that stuff that was seeing my part in and what I was doing that wasn't serving me anymore.
Like old ways of being.
Yes, old ways of being. And,
which we talk a lot about on the Heal Your Hunger show.
Yeah, and all those, and false beliefs, digging that out. And also just, the mindset, that I had versus where I'm at today is so different. My consciousness had to change, and it did.
Yeah, Tsilah used to feel so bad about herself. Oh my God, so bad about herself. Her self-esteem was in the toilet. You're a workaholic.
Yep.
You had no self-care in your life whatsoever.
No. And actually, that's what brought me to my knees was after I had heard Tricia speak. Then a couple weeks later, I was laid off from my job. And I was devastated because my whole self-esteem was tied up in work. So without work, what was I?
Anybody relate to that?
So who was I? And so I just my self-esteem was in the gutter. I mean, below the gutter.
Yeah.
You know, it was in the drain.
Yeah.
And so I am amazed at what how many feelings are stored in our bodies. Tricia just talked about, you know, reminded me how much crying I did when I first started. But it has, like, there's been so much more, because that was only the top layer. You know, there was so much more that I was holding in. And look, I'm 66, so, you know, and I didn't come to the program until I was in, 51. So that's a lot of stuff down in there that has had to come up and out and cleared out.
Yeah, and you've done the work. I mean,
Yeah.
she didn't go to therapy for it. She just did really the Heal Your Hunger process, which wasn't called Heal Your Hunger at the time, but that's the process that's how I healed as well, with the mentorship of Roy. And so, yeah, one day at a time, it's helped us turn, our lives around into beautiful, incredible examples of light and love, and healing, obviously, from emotional eating, which included weight loss. The weight loss is a side effect. It's a side effect of that inner journey. It is absolutely a side effect. Because if you're not emotionally eating to cover up feelings, if you're feeling those feelings and processing them and clearing them out, you don't need the food, the excess food. You can eat healthy, make healthy choices. You don't need the excess food because you're not trying to cover those feelings up. So kudos to you, Tsilah. I love it.
You.
So Tsilah has a new chapter in her life, well, on many levels.
A year and a half.
Yeah?
It's been a year and a half.
A year and a half.
That I started dancing.
That you started dancing. So we're going to talk about creativity, because Tsilah, I've heard her over the years talk about dancing and how she just loves dancing, but she just do it in fits and starts. And then about a year and a half ago, you started really doing it more intentionally. And I have to tell you, it totally blew my mind. She did dance sessions for. She led Heal Your Hunger clients, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, Tsilah is a coach in the Heal Your Hunger company and mission. And so she coaches many of the women who are on the road of healing their relationship with food, which is so lovely. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And then on some of her retreats, she will lead us in dance. And when I saw her dancing, you may have even seen her if you came to one of our events, Make Peace with Food, I think, was the last one she led us in dance at. And I just, if ever there was something that would make my jaw literally drop open, oh my God, that was you, watching you dance. So there is a spirit inside of Tsilah that just comes alive, and, it's really beautiful. So what happens for you? How was that process of opening up to dance? I mean, anybody listening, if you're carrying excess weight, you got body stuff. You got body shame. I certainly did. I know you did too. I mean, it was just, the war with our bodies is real until we go on a healing journey. And so to express ourselves not only vocally, right? We have to learn to talk about our feelings and communicate our needs and all that. But then we have to take it further and learn how to be in our bodies and not hate on our bodies, but make peace with our bodies and to express, our life force through our bodies. So what was that evolution like for you?
Yeah, so it was a process of embodiment. That's what it was.
It's a great word.
So it, when someone who I knew gave me information about this 5 rhythms style dancing, and I went after she had handed it to me, and 6 months later I decided to go. So
will you explain what 5 rhythms is?
Yeah, it's basically free form dance movement. So there's no, you don't follow anyone. There's a DJ and facilitator, and there's a wave. So they have music. The DJ, has a music set, and it starts very kind of slow, and you kind of open your body up, you kind of wake up, you stretch, you connect in with your body on the floor. Usually you start and then you start moving, you get up and you start moving. And as the music picks up, the rhythm, right? You just let your body move in whatever way it wants to move.
And this is free form. You're not dancing with anybody.
You're not dancing with anyone. You're dancing. You can move all around. It's a really big dance space. So you can move all around the room. You can stay in one spot. You can, if you want to just sit in the corner, you could sit there's no judgment. There's just, what I love about it is very similar to Heal Your Hunger, just such, love and safety in that room. And so, everyone moves in their own innate way to the music. So, one person might hear that rhythm and that music and be going like up and down, up and down. Another person might be like back and forth, So different people move in a different way. But what happens is that there's a wave of music. So it starts slow, it moves up, it, crescendos like a wave, and then it goes back down. And then usually and then there's a second wave, and it starts again slow and then moves up and then crescendos. And so, what's interesting is that, again, you dance, it's your own dance. And you're dancing with yourself. But then what I found for me is that as I got more comfortable in my body, in myself, then I started connecting with people dancing. So, and that, but it's one of these, again, safe spaces. They tell you at the beginning, if you have to get eye contact that the person wants to, dance with you. And it's not it's not like a partner dance. It's you're moving in kind of a similar way, or it could be a partner dance, but it doesn't have, there's contact, people can, some people are into contact, improvisation kind of thing. But again, it doesn't have to be. And it's all based, it's all what you want to do, right? And so for me, there was the safety to just, first of all, to connect inside me and to move to my own rhythm and to move the way my body wanted to move. And that was huge because all my life I had been disconnected with my body because I was fat. And even when I lost the weight, I still had this fat consciousness. So I couldn't see myself as thin, even though I was wearing a small size. So the first thing for me was really connecting inside, and again, this is like the work that we're doing in Heal Your Hunger, right? We're connecting inside. And also we're connecting deeply with that spirit within us. And like when I walked in this room for in the dance space for the first time, I was like, oh, this is my spiritual home. That's what it's like. So anyway, so first I got comfortable dancing with myself. And as I got comfortable dancing with myself, also I found myself moving more like, more broadly, like my arms would go all out, any which way, right? My legs, my hips, my buttocks, like I would shake my head, and my hair. And what I found was also I started getting connected with my sensuality, because when we start moving our bodies, that's what's innate in us, is that we are very sensual beings. And so it's such a safe space, right, that I could explore that. And the more I did, and I found these parts of myself that I had never explored before. I had never opened up to before because I was so shut down and afraid of my body. I was so afraid of my body.
Yeah, and that's very common for us, right? Yeah. Our bodies, We've been at war with our bodies.
Yeah.
Been at war with, emotions inside of our bodies, sexual feelings inside our bodies. We may have felt like our bodies betrayed us, or we were out of control when we lost weight. I know for myself, I was afraid of my sexuality. When I'd lose weight, I'd be afraid of being promiscuous, and then I'd put the weight back on just to tamp it down. So there's a lot going on inside our bodies, and we tend to just try to live from the neck up, not paying attention to our bodies except to try to control them and make them the way we want them to be. But it's a relationship. Like we're with our bodies our entire life. Our bodies are with us. Our bodies are serving us every single day without our asking, pumping blood, moving nutrients, making connections, digesting, the whole thing. And so it's time. It's time to make that, make peace with our bodies and learn how to be with our bodies. So I love that you're doing that, Tsilah.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. So again, there was so much that it started with, that dancing with myself and connecting in with myself. And then it grew. And like at first also, like the rhythms of the dance, there are all sorts of different rhythms. And so I found myself dancing out anger, dancing out fear, dancing out, sadness and pain. And then once you do that, then you can dance joy too, because you can't get to the joy usually until you get out all the other feelings as well. So it opened me up to like getting those feelings out of my body, and expressing them, and again it being safe to do that. So through this process, it was just like kind of an innate and a organic process what happened. But I would say about 6 months in, it was last fall, and I remember a day that all of a sudden I said, wow, I love my body. I love my body. And I felt embodied for the very first time in my life. And to love my body. And I have early childhood trauma in my background, and so to come to that place of loving my body was huge. Was just huge, and that was the start of then a greater opening to, I think, where I'm at today, which is full embodiment, and full embodiment in life. So I'm bringing that into my life, and I'm finding that that's being reflected back to me as, and how I relate to people is so different than how I did before, because I'm not the victim. I'm not I'm not in fear. Through the dance, and also in one of the dance classes I do, like there's sounding also, and you make all sorts of weird faces, and you make all sorts of weird sounds. And it taught me that I had nothing to be inhibited about. Like, who cares? No one cares, except I did. But
that self-consciousness.
It was a self-consciousness, and I didn't have to have that. And the more that I could let that go and I found that like I could bring that lack of inhibition everywhere I went, like that lack of that fear, being run by fear. And again, that has opened me up to connect with people in really deep ways that I didn't have those connections before.
Beautiful.
And also what I find is that I'm able to share that with others, and so I'm able to bring that to other people. So there's more to contribute that I have to contribute. And that always feels great, right? When you're giving back,
from your full cup.
Yes, exactly.
From your full cup.
Yes.
I love that, Tsilah, and I've watched you every step of the way.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
So impressed.
Yeah.
Roy would be so proud. My
Yeah.
goodness. So it's just beautiful. I really wanted Tsilah to come and share because it's just another element of the healing journey that can help you overcome so many things that hold you back. Obviously her freedom in dance was born out of her recovery journey and all the work that she did preceding it. But there's no reason why you can't start your process of healing on the dance floor, and being in a safe space. So 5 Rhythms is a great place to go to. I mean, most major cities have these kinds of dance opportunities. The space is very, like Tsilah said, safe. It's not like a pickup joint. It's not like going to a disco or like a bar.
No, there's no talking on the dance floor. So, cell phones, everything are put aside, and you're on the dance floor, no talking.
And no creepiness.
No, yeah. And, you have to actually, there's also ecstatic dance, in some places that's what it's called. So you look for 5 Rhythms, ecstatic dance, 360 emergence. They're different. They're all the same type of dance. Mm-hmm. But you really want also, this is where we get to discern too. We walk into a space and we feel like, how does our body feel in this space? I immediately, in the space I went into, I felt safe, and I felt, as I said, it was like I found my spiritual home, but this is where, we have to trust our bodies. And if we walk into a space and it doesn't feel good, then, we leave. But again, that's where I would never have done that before Heal Your Hunger, right? I was too much in fear and trying to people please and trying to, I mean, the idea of oh, this doesn't feel good, I'm going to leave.
Yeah, you didn't have that self-confidence.
I didn't have that self-confidence.
Yeah.
But in general, these spaces are safe, loving, and it's it's a great place to explore and to practice, right? We're just practicing and we're exploring that opening within ourselves.
Yeah, and I will say you don't have to do a co-ed room either.
Yeah.
Maybe start with rooms that have just women. My sister goes to a place in Portland, Maine called Body Positive or Body Positivity or something, and I went with her. And it's kind of like an exercise class, but with dance moves. So it's more, it's not as woo as what you're talking about. And I love the woo, but it's more like there's somebody on the stage directing you on how to move your body. But it's still fun because you're still letting loose and kind of just punching the air and turning around and that kind of thing. So there's definitely women centered ones or women only ones that you can, if you're a woman, that can make you feel safe. And it's just, that's maybe perhaps better place to start.
Well, I mean, I started with something called Nia.
Nia is a great idea.
It's a movement also, but it's a combination of free form and you follow on dance
moves,
follow on. So that was a great kind of intro, and I did that for years, and that connected me back with dance and movement, which I had done in the long time ago, and then I shut down. And so that Nia reconnected me. And then when I found this, I mean, my heart just was singing.
Yeah, you were ready for it.
I was ready.
You're
for
ready
it.
for it. I like that you did the Nia.
Yeah.
And there's other things too. What are some other things? There's some funky names.
There's Zumba.
That's right. Yeah, so that's good too. Not good for me. I am so uncoordinated. It's awful. I cannot do dance moves for the life of me.
Well, that's what I love about 5 Rhythms.
Yeah,
and
that works better
ecstatic
for me
dance
for that reason.
Because everyone does their own thing, and what you come to see is that everyone is beautiful and everyone moves in beautiful ways.
Yeah.
So it's like, it also has helped me because as emotional eaters, right, I was very judgy, like my head is all like,
we judge ourselves, we judge other people, it never ends.
Right. So, to go into these rooms and to see the beauty in every single person, that has helped me so much also.
I love it. Oh, Tsilah, thanks so much for coming to talk about this dance. And alongside of dance, she's gotten into her musical self, has come back, and that's a whole nother form of expression. The point is, friends, we want to be self-expressed. We have to stop being trapped inside our heads, inside our bodies. It's time to let the energy flow and let God move through us and express as fun and joy and love and just pure joy of movement, the joy of movement. And it's also good exercise, by the way, but we don't do it for that. We do it because we're expressing ourselves, and it's not a bad thing if it's good exercise too, right?
Right.
It's more fun to exercise where it's fun instead of drudgery.
And again, I will say, to get to a place where we can love our bodies.
Yeah.
Huge for us who have lived with that, self-hatred of, and of our bodies.
Yeah, we have to stop hiding. Come out of hiding, girl.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
It's great to have you. It's wonderful to see your transformation. Thanks for giving me a front row seat. Really appreciate that. And thanks for all that you do for women in the Heal Your Hunger community. And everybody, thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to join us for our Fabulously 500 gathering on Zoom coming up soon for episode 500. And we'll see you on the next show.